Hey guys, welcome
Hello.
back.
Yes, welcome back to another KEDICHO Podcast episode.
Woo!
We are back with another Dicho for y'all. And this is the podcast where we dive deep into the dichos that we grew up hearing from our
Ooh,
childhood, from our Latino family.
yummy.
So, yeah,
Can you tell me the dicho, Alejandro? Because I actually don't know. You're the one that's bringing it up. So, a
the
ver, dime.
dicho
Cuéntame.
está en mi teléfono.
Ah, we're filming.
De lo que me acuerdo.
Oh boy.
No, sí me acuerdo
You want
porque
to
está
Google it?
fácil. Se llama Para cada capilla le llega su fiestilla.
Hold on, I'm gonna have to check that.
Yes.
A cada capillita le llega su fiestecita.
So yeah. But before that, like every episode, we're gonna catch up a little bit on what is going on in our week.
Yes, sir. So, Alejandro, what'd you do this week?
So guess what, guys? I started this little challenge where I'm going to be waking up early at 5 a.m. all the days of May,
Ooh,
meaning all the months of May. So
you're 2 days in.
I'm 2 days in because we're recording this on May 2nd. Yes, so this will be the first regular scheduled episode that will be airing.
Yay!
Yay!
Aplausos! Aplausos! Ándale, sí.
Yay!
Yay!
Let's celebrate because
It's a
this is a
big one.
it's a big milestone for KEDICHO. It's
It's the first milestone.
it's a big milestone
one of
for
many to
us,
come. Yeah.
but definitely.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of, I'm gonna cut you off hard.
Mhm.
So we actually announced to our social media, which our Facebook and Instagram, that we're actually launching pretty soon. Right?
Okay,
Like,
yeah, we did.
and I, man, once I posted that and people were starting to like it and have like a few little comments like, yeah, congrats or whatever, I kind of got nervous because, like, okay, these people are liking the post, whatever, like hearting it or following our Instagram page. Like, once we
Oh,
mentioned
okay,
it,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying like it's a billion gazillion people, it's like a small handful, but it's still like people that know us, at least like in a personal level. So I'm kind of getting nervous. Then this is the first time that I've ever posted or made something that I'm like, oh snap, this is making me nervous.
Really?
Yeah.
Like social media nervous type of thing?
Yeah. And just like knowing that they can hear and have opinions of what we have to say here on our podcast, it kind of makes me a little
Perfect. In my perspective, I welcome all opinions and all criticism,
Ooh, I don't want to think about people listening right now.
and we encourage dialogue. In fact, because dichos do bring a lot of perspective into it. Like a dicho could be seen in so many ways,
Yes.
and your opinion matters and your story matters. So definitely, if you have a story, like if we do talk about a dicho and we talk to, I mean, we dive into it and we uncovered its secrets and its meaning, but we didn't touch something that 100% that also connects to that dicho. That's where you drop in a comment and subscribe and follow us so that you can let us know.
Yeah, that's something that is actually really exciting for me. Although I did say I was nervous, like
So-
contradicting myself.
So let me tell you something you might not know, Alondra.
Okay.
So, according to this book that I read by Simon Sinek, he mentioned that the emotion in his book, he has it in the
Is it
the
the purple cow?
no that's
green.
Seth Godin.
Golden.
Girl, come on, get your authors
Right there.
right. So, in the book, start with your why by Simon Sinek. He talks
Oh, I
about
remember him now. I have a face for him now.
so
Yeah.
he talks about the emotion of nervous and excitement
It's the
is
same.
the same one. The only thing that switches is your perspective.
So they're like siblings.
Yes. So whatever chemicals is released in your brain whenever you're nervous are the same ones that are released when you're excited. So whenever you do have those chemicals
Boy.
going, just mentally switch
Okay.
it to excitement because it's the
Okay,
same.
well, are you nervous? What are you feeling? when you
Well,
see
actually,
that there's people liking your post about this giant project that you're going to be showing, and maybe people have expectations because they're comparing it to other podcasts. I'm not going to say that ours is the best, but it's going to be compared.
It's going to be compared to another other podcast, and I can already see like the labels they're gonna be connecting to our podcast. But then again, in this current moment, there are so many podcasts out there,
Yeah.
and th- the thing that we can do is differentiate ourselves from other podcasts on the things that we talk here, and be known for something specific. We chose Dichos because that's something that called to us, and something that is the way that I explain it is like if Dichos were in an energy, or like an entity, or like
A physical
a physical
manifestation.
spiritual manifestation of Dichos, the idea of Dichos
Mm-hmm.
had a mind of his own, and he's going around
Like if he was
people's
human?
mind.
Oh, okay.
No,
Okay.
so if it was
It's
like
not
an
human.
energy, right? So and so this energy taps into people and it's like, hey, how about you spread me? Not like that. Not like that. How
No,
about
thank
you
you.
spread the word about Dichos, or us? How about like I can't do it because I'm a
So it's like
energy outside of
spreading the word of the gospel. That same feeling.
maybe. I don't know if that's what
No,
you
that's what I think of like when people say they want to spread,
right. Yeah.
the love of Jesus.
So this information that is out there, but it's in the think about it like in the spiritual realm, or like the other like the energy realm, where it's not in the physical world, where us humans, we are in charge to propagating or spreading ideas.
And
And
hopefully they're good ideas, not just
yeah, that comes with
people who
the
get hurt. Like go do this, go do that.
well, either way it
I don't
works the
know.
same way. It's like here's a tool. The way you use it is up to you. We're choosing to use it to spread positive awareness of the dichos. So the example that I was trying to say is that it's like the dichos came to us and asked us, "Hey, here's this idea. Would you be willing to be the physical uh, individuals who help spread the dichos even more? Because dichos have been spreading from person to person, and then it came to us, and it was like, hey, so there's this new thing called the podcast. Can you spread our
Right.
awareness within that
Because
medium?"
back in the day, or before, I guess this era, people would share dichos through just like stories and their wisdom and their life. So now, since we haven't lived that life. Okay, look at us sitting in a corner in a podcast room. We get running water every day. We have lights and we have Wi-Fi.
Oh,
We
okay.
don't have that life where uno va like en el campo. Not like, what am I saying?
What are you doing?
What? Nothing. Just hanging out.
No, you forgot that. Me? Me? Nothing.
Nothing.
Me?
Okay, I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? So back in the day, dichos were just spread by storytelling. I see, like person to person, just close proximity. And for us, we didn't live that lifestyle where those dichos really made sense in those scenarios. You know what I'm saying? You're better at talking.
So what I think you're expressing is that where the dichos were created were on the field, like out there where like a granjero,
Yeah.
a
The
ranchero
examples of
that
those
were
dichos.
over there. So
The metaphors that they use.
we were not in that environment, meaning we were taking from that environment culture. We were taking from that culture, so we don't really know them, but we dive deep into him.
The whole point of a dicho is just to share, well, not the whole point, but like some reasons for the dichos is to share their wisdom and to share how they found meaning or significance or motivation in whatever situation that these people went through. So whenever they would share it to people, it would be like, I guess, to the younger generation.
Yeah.
It's just like some word of advice,
To those who were in need of that dicho.
Yeah.
And like,
so for us, where do we hear those dichos if it's not just my grandpa or your tío or whoever?
I'm kind of confused on what you were trying to say because,
What are you confused about?
okay, so let me take it back to, you were trying to say that we're here running water and like, look at us, environment. What do you mean by that?
Like, for an example, when we would listen to mi abuelito's stories.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, his stories are crazy. His world is completely different from what we have experienced here and what we know here. So for him, the other side of the coin for him when he comes here, or who he is now at his age versus who he was in our age and the life he had when he was our age. So the fact that he can tell those stories to us, it's a whole different world for us because we're here in the US with Wi-Fi and running water every day, and the lifestyle is just so different. So those dichos wouldn't really make sense to us unless they're explained. You know?
The terms used to explain the dichos are different, but that's where the new generation comes in and plugs in new information to keep the same meaning,
exactly,
but to be understood in this new culture.
But I still want to
Chicano.
But it's the purpose is still to keep those dichos alive.
The job that we got by this energy coming to us and saying, we want you to spread the dichos around. It came to us so that we can use this new medium, which is podcast, and
storytell.
Since it has not been proper, or it has, or I don't know if it has, but we're definitely joining in the team, and we're gonna be helping out spread these dichos into the homes,
into this modern culture that we have as Mexican Americans.
Yeah. So one of the things that you mentioned when you were explaining that is that you said that we don't know all the dichos, and you will never really know a dicho. Is the same way as like a dictionary. In the dictionary, you don't know all the words in the dictionary, but when something in your life takes you to like, hey, what's the definition of this thing? And you go in and you look for it, it'll be there, right?
You're like, oh, wow, but you don't, exactly. It makes sense.
So, ¿qué dicho eventually will become the dictionary, the podcast where you can, if you want more information of a specific dicho that you found or heard, because you haven't heard all of them. You want to refer
back to our podcast? Is that what you're saying?
You can come to our podcast to get that information.
Not saying all the information is going to be accurate.
Oh, yeah. So this is
that's just our interpretation of the dichos.
It's a conversation of the dicho because all you get from whenever you
look it up on Google.
Yes, you get a basic explanation, and then
there's some articles that go into it.
Nah.
Yeah, there are some, but they go into like a 20 word paragraph.
Yeah, like a little paragraph,
and then they move on to the next one.
This is the whole podcast episode where we dive deep into the dichos we grew up hearing from our parents and grandparents and our ancestors
and our tíos and our tías and our teachers and our cousins and our best friends. I'm just kidding. Alejandro.
I like changing it all the time because maybe I find the actual one that's going to be the one that's like, okay, from here on, that's the one. But anyways.
Today's dicho, what was it again? Cada capillita le toca su fiestecita. What does that even mean, you guys? Let's break it down. So, literally translate that for you guys. I'll do that. So, let me do it in the literal terms. For every church, there is a little part. Okay, I'm doing the literal one. For every church, it has its little party. That doesn't really make sense in English to me.
Well, that's where you could...
Because
you would have to switch out. So
each pueblo has its own santo or like main character. And so cuando llega el cumpleaños del santo, that's when they celebrate the pueblo. And that's what I'm assuming that's what it says. So a cada capillita le llega su fiestecita. It doesn't matter how big the pueblo is or how small, it will eventually have its celebration.
Translation that I would do is for every chapel, there is their celebration. So to give context onto that, you gotta it's very rooted in culture, specifically the Mexican culture. So every town was founded, well, in the old days, the Catholic religion was literally what made the whole conquering Mexico a thing as well, because whenever the
That's a
Spaniards
deep
came in,
conversation
yeah, and I am
for
going
another
deep.
day.
That's a whole, but a little bit of context is like the Catholic Church, the Catholic religion, has been a part of Mexico since its inception, and so each little town that was being founded was a church, a little chapel was established because you had to spread the word of Jesus Christ. And so a new town will have this little church, a little chapel, a little chapel.
Yeah, because I feel like
And
churches were made once the town was big enough.
yes,
So chapel was the first one.
that was like the marker where like you can say, oh yeah, it's
There's a group
little,
of people.
a little ranchito or a little pueblito.
Mm-hmm.
It has a little chapel. And they did that because wherever people were at, they would meet up every Sunday for their mass, and then they had to have a chapel. And with that means that no matter how small, like if it was a little one, a little place that was founded, and then it grew to be big and be like a big pueblo
They
or a
needed
big
church.
city, they needed a church. All right. And then there's other pueblos where like people did congregate, but they stayed small. So what this dicho comes into, where like the definition or the example, the meaning of the dicho is that
the root of this.
in every chapel, it is based out of a saint, and then there's the date of the that you celebrate that saint of that chapel or that town. And no matter if you're a big one or you're a small one, eventually you will have your party or your celebration, your day of celebration.
That's a big, well, it's the biggest day for your town, for your pueblo, for your city. Not city, I think it's more pueblos.
Well, city, it when it comes to that, it's like it goes down as in like there's the Capel Church. It has this little celebration.
Right, and that's, I'm going to stop you there.
Right.
Because I feel like it's not the same culture here.
Oh, sorry. In Mexico.
That's a huge deal. Like, imagine if they had those here. They can't really, because the U.S. is like a melting pot of religions.
Right.
So I think if anything, the churches do, but it's more like if you know, you know. And it's just like a little event. Mm-hmm. If that, because I haven't even heard about it in our church. I could be wrong.
Right. It's a very Mexico thing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the families that go immigrate or migrate into the United States, and then they have their kids over here, the days or the times that they go back
is for the fiesta.
Of their town.
Boy, let me tell you, I got so much to talk about that.
God, girl.
was
I knew you were gonna like this little dicho.
Anyways, my turn to talk. For me personally, I actually would go every single year since I was in the womb.
So you experienced the going back to el pueblito, a la fiesta.
So I feel like for my family, it was a very, very significant time in my upbringing when we would go to Mexico for that week for the La Fiesta del Rancho. That's what it was called. And I didn't know about any other place in Mexico growing up other than El Rancho that my dad is from. Mm-hmm. So like for me, I thought all Mexico was like that. And mind you, I would go in late March. Mm-hmm. And allá en Puebla, in La Sierra, wherever it's located, the place was, the nature was still dead. It was in winter phase.
Oh, okay.
So for me, I remember I had we would do journaling in first grade. Mm-hmm. So I wrote in my journal that I was going to Mexico for spring break, and I drew a little picture under it. I still remember. It was stick figures, and it was like a picture of my sister, my mom, my dad, and me. Mm-hmm. and the background was just like dead grass, a flower that was dead. I remember specifically, I would draw it like this, like estaba colgando así. Okay. I was like, this is Mexico. And for me, that was Mexico because I didn't know that they had seasons there because I only ever went when it was in that season. It was just dirt. No leaves on the trees, no anything.
So it was obviously it was winter.
Yeah, it was still in the
So
winter
it was
phase.
dry season.
Well, because El 21 is usually spring or whatever. No, not
it's
really.
the beginning. No, it's spring doesn't even start, right?
In March? Yeah.
But barely.
Yeah,
Right?
Barely.
Barely started.
Sometimes we're there when it starts.
It's like the last week of
I think it's the 21st to 22nd.
21st
Of
and
March.
22nd of March.
Yeah, and the fiestas del 19.
Oh, there you go. It's an equinox. It's an equinox party. What it is? It's aligned. It's aligned with the changing of seasons, pretty much.
Kind of is, but it's La Fiesta de San Jose.
Right, which is
Jesus' daddy on earth.
Whoa, padrastro. I don't know the
boy, get out. But yeah, so my dad's town, that's where I would end up going. I went on a bad tangent. I'm sorry. Nada que ver con.
Right.
But that's where we would go. We would go there and we were lucky because the fiesta for my dad's town was actually spring break for us here in school.
Mm-hmm.
So we would take a whole week over there, and sometimes we would go a week earlier. So I would be gone for 2 weeks in Mexico. It just depended on when the fiesta was there, if it was on spring break or not, you know?
Nice. How big was your capilla?
I know these. I know that smirk. You're asking this because it's a small village.
And yet again, it had its
has its fiesta that I will look forward to all the time going because it was the highlight of my life. I don't know.
Okay.
The highlight of the year going to Mexico.
Definitely from an outside perspective, looking into Alondra's family and getting to know them as a family. And let me just tell you that by the time March, because March is like, this is the month, and they talk about is Mexico. They start listening to los armadillos.
Ándale, sí sabes.
Las jilguerillas, maybe, también, yeah. Right? And like very like old style Mexican music. Yeah. And then they start looking at plane tickets. They start looking at they talk about the past fiestas that they went to, and then they're just majorly obsessed with La Fiesta del Pueblo.
And it's like I said, it's a village.
And it takes over them, tiny. And it's like, ¿Vas a ir? ¿Vas a ir este año?
All our cousins, all my tíos.
¿Van a ir?
They come over just to see if we're going.
¿Vamos juntos?
¿Vamos volando? ¿Vamos manejando?
And like every day there isn't a time, like they're always checking for plane tickets. And even if they know they're not going to go, they still check.
Me. Guys, okay, so you see how hyped I was talking about this? You know how long it's been since I've gone? It's been 10 years.
10 years
since I've gone to La Fiesta. Like I'm still hyped about it. Because every year I still have hope that I end up going. Mm-hmm. Pero algo pasa and I can't go.
Right.
So igual me pasó este año.
Mm-hmm.
I was this close to going, but what happened? Well, flashback to 10 years ago, the last time I went.
Right.
My passport was about to expire. And 10 years ago, I was 16. So my parents were like, oh, snap. How are we going to go to Mexico if our daughter's passports are expired? So what they did is like they got they went to the courthouse. I don't even know how they got it that fast. Point is that they took us to go get our passports renewed, and they paid expedited. They paid the whole shebang to get it rush shipped and whatever to us. And it arrived the day before we left. And back in the day, we would actually go driving to Mexico. So it was like a 22 hour drive. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was fun. I miss it. But
road trip.
I know, it was awesome. I have so many stories, you guys. This is why I'm so passionate about just ranchito vibes. So yeah, my parents got it renewed for us, and like, so we made it happen, whatever. And that was the last time I ended up going. Wow, that's ridiculous.
I did that connection in my brain, but I let you figure it out that the day that you got it renewed
Was for the last
10
time
year-
I go.
Exactly.
That is so sad. Todo eso se fue a la basura.
No,
Well, I
se fue a la
mean,
basura.
we went to Mexico plenty of times for you.
Yeah,
we got married in Mexico
but you just didn't go
anymore,
to la fiesta.
and that was the whole reason, right?
Right.
So that happened 10 years ago. So around January of this year, I was like, let's go to Mexico, whatever, you know.
The usual. The usual. Like March or like before. Like this time, like January, they're like, van a ir, because they start
the
planning,
topic
right?
was getting, you know.
Even December, kind of like.
Oh, yeah, because December is also a time that we would go. Anyways, but let me finish the story. So I'm thinking about going. I'm like, okay, let me take my husband. Woohoo, wee. And then I look at my passport and my heart drops to my butt. I'm like, oh, snap. I noticed that the passport expires on March 6th of this year. And I was like, dude, no freaking way. And so I'm so sad. Like, that's so dumb. Of all the times that my freaking passport could expire, it has to expire the month of the fiesta. So I sent everything in early February to go get it renewed. I did all my research. I took my own little picture because apparently you can do that now. I was like, let me make sure I look good. And I paid the expedited. They sent it back because I didn't sign the check. Mira. Yo no sabía que you have to sign the check. Okay, I've never given a check. I've only received checks.
But even those you have to sign.
Yeah, the thing is that the guy was there to watch me do everything. I don't know why he didn't tell me.
Didn't remind you to, hey, make sure to.
I guess he assumed
with your name.
Yeah.
Before, because then it doesn't go through. Or
it's not
they
valid.
Yeah, it's not a valid check.
So
and they they can't forge a signature.
Yeah, so they had to void everything and just send me an email, send the check back to me. And that was like a month later. So it was already in March. And I was like, crap, this is not going to get here.
Yeah, but
I was still hopeful.
I was still telling her that, like, yeah, you're not going to Mexico because there is no way.
And
there is no way.
Crying on my knees over here praying to God.
And supposedly you were supposed to get your passport
within 5 weeks.
But because you didn't sign that.
Long story short, I paid extra for the friggin' passport to get here rush feed. The point of the story is my passport expired in March of 10 years ago. So I got screwed in the butt for that, because that's the month that I travel. And so this year I renewed it again in March. So that means in 10 years it's going to expire in March.
Right.
So if I don't look out for myself, it's going to happen again in 10 years. So I could renew it earlier.
Yeah.
That way it renews.
Usually that's how it works.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to renew it in like July before it expires. Oh, by the way, because I was doing all that research to renew my passport, you know what I found out? And I know it's probably common knowledge for some people, but I just didn't know because I had never had to research about passports. That if your passport expires within 6 months, some people can negar traveling outside of the country.
Really?
Really?
Like countries can deny traveling?
So like the whoever, I guess, either the flight people before you go into the airplane or TSA, because everybody checks your passport. Yeah. And I think more it's TSA, but I don't know. But it says that, yeah, they can deny it if it's within 6 months of expiration. And so we got married in October. November, December, January, February, March. That was 5 months.
So it could, okay.
They could have negarlo. We just got lucky.
As in they can if they have a reason why.
I guess they can if they're in the mood.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody be denied if you have a passport and you still got 6 months on them.
No, yeah, it's a thing. I didn't know that either.
I mean,
It's a
if it's
thing.
written, yeah, it's a
It's
thing.
on
It's like
the U.S. government thing.
right. So the only thing is like I think if you give a reason, we will deny it. But if you give no reason, like it happened to us, like we didn't give any reasons to be withhold
No
or
sé ni mangos.
I don't think it's if they feel like it or not. I think it's take it or leave it, take it as a grain of salt. But I think if you give them a reason, coming back to el dicho, para cada capilla le llega su fiestecilla. So what I'm getting the vibe of that dicho, uh, so the way that we can see it is that you say it to someone who is either going in a rough patch in their life or they're going in a situation where like they're going through a rough patch in their life and they can't catch a break, right? And they're like buried down. So the
From an
the person
outsider.
from an outside perspective would say that dicho to someone. It's like, hey, a toda capilla le llega su fiestecilla. You will eventually get a break
Mm-hmm.
because it's bound to happen. Like every capilla, like every little mass, like every little church, like every little chapel. Eventually, they all get there. So no matter how insignificant you are to the universe or how significant you are to the universe, you will eventually catch breaks in your life.
Right. So it's kind of like a motivational.
Yeah, I
This
guess,
one
and
falls into the
like
motivation.
like raise your head. Things will get better. Type of
Be
saying.
hopeful.
Be hopeful. You're going through a rough patch right now, but hey, it won't be like the things. It won't be like that all the time, and things will change for you. When have you, Alondra, been in in a situation where this dicho fits? There is times in our lives that things, yes, are in celebration mode. Things are just in like it's a happening. It's like it's your turn to be admired. It's your turn to be acknowledged. It's your turn.
Was recently. It was March, February of this year, and it was actually a TikTok video that went viral of mine. And I'm not going to say it was like a lifetime goal for me, but I do understand that for some people, that is a goal that they want to reach. At least
Mm-hmm.
that they can say, like, oh, I have a video that went viral,
Right.
and just reap the benefits of whatever that video can give you. So for me, in my case, my video that went viral was the wedding dress video that I made.
Okay.
And I laugh and I feel like, para mí, it doesn't really hit me that hard of how big it actually got
Mm-hmm.
because I'm bad with numbers, first of all.
You can't quantify it or as in like what that number means, and
Not at all. The only way that I can kind of reflect is how I know some big social media people are, like influencers, or
mm-hmm.
I don't even have somebody, but how many followers they have. They're in the millions, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have like 3 million, whatever, 6 million. And my video has 6.4 million. So that's how I can compare. It's like, oh, this huge celebrity has this amount of followers. That's kind of like the amount of people that have seen my video. For the Fiestecilla, I would say it's that for me recently, having a video to go viral and have that amount of people to just like celebrate you, at least if it's even in the comments, just be like, congratulations. Not for the video going viral, but for the fact that I made the context of the video,
Right.
which was the fact that I made my own wedding dresses. I
Mm-hmm.
always have to say dresses because I forget of how many I did make.
Right.
And it's funny because I wasn't trying to have that one go viral. It's a little embarrassing. So it's kind of like,
But you definitely had the intention for it to be seen because
why else would I post it?
why else you would create content, right? And
Yeah,
you didn't have a consistent track record of posting before that.
absolutely not.
And like you had
Especially not
just
something like that. Yeah.
yeah, you had just regular posts as in like you were testing the waters in other words, I mean.
Well, the content that I would post before was mainly just like me messing with my hair, some drawings, some paintings. It was mainly just that. It wasn't really doing any dancing or booty shaking and none of that.
So it was very
Definitely not talking. either. I didn't talk in
Okay.
the other ones.
So you tried something different on that one post.
Yeah. I had my
You
face in it.
you had your face in it, and then you were explaining, you, you were storytelling about your journey of making your dress, and
Yes.
then you took from beginning to end, and you took people on a ride of
Of emotions.
emotions, and that's why I think that video went viral, because you started off with a good hook, and then a lot of girls were hooked into your video, and then
Mm-hmm.
the way that you started explaining your journey of making your dress, the plot twist doesn't, like, you changed it and it looked different,
And then I changed it
and then you
again.
changed it again. You kept hooking people. I was like, oh my god! So at the
Is
what
this
is
the
the
one?
actual
Yeah.
what's the actual dress
Right.
until the final, the reveal, and then the reveal was satisfying. I said, like, it was worth it, and so you took people on a journey, and then you gave them a good reveal, which is, people appreciated that. So that's why they not only saw it, they also liked it, and they, like, commented. It was
Yeah.
such a
And shared it,
it was
apparently.
such a gift you gave to people on that one video, that they I not only watched it, I liked it, and I'm going to comment, because, girl, let me tell you, that is beautiful, or blah blah blah, or
For that to go viral and me being shy. Pero es que, so I don't know if that dicho really works with this then. Because for me, for a lot of people, that is worth celebrating. Like, oh yeah, I went viral and I'm going to take everything that I can with this and keep posting.
because that world exists. It's so, in this new age, in this new era. That's why the dichos came to us and said, "Help me spread around in the digital world, because it's such a important and such a real place now, that it is real now,
Right.
that a lot of people have not understand or understood that that's a reality that we're facing from this point on forward, that a lot of our reality, a lot of our interactions in the world will be majorly digital, or at least that it will matter. That's just something that we all have to understand, that that's where we're headed. And that's becoming a reality more and more. That we have to balance that life and that reality, or that world, with our actual day to day, right? That's what we have to figure out as human beings as well, to how to find that balance. But we cannot, if we want to, in a way, be successful in this world, which is combined with the digital world now, we have to use digital world, and we have to build a
What are your
name for
thoughts on
ourselves.
AI?
My thoughts on AI.
Yeah. If that's the case.
It's in the beginning stages, but just like social media became a really big thing, which is was the catalyst of the digital world, AI is coming into it as one more app that is, if the apps before, or the things you used before, was considered smart, AI is coming into as an app that it's like, you have a genius
Does that
phone.
scare you?
You have scare me.
Because it's smarter than you, believe it or not.
I don't think I'm in the stage where I'm afraid of it, more than I want to know more about it, and know how we can synergistically work together, which I think should be the approach.
So you want to have it like your personal assistant.
It's because chat BTB will not work without the input of the human being, because don't you have to give it prompts? Don't you have to think still?
Yeah, but like I feel like you can just put whatever and it'll make this out of the small information that you gave it, it's going to make this beautiful, well written essay for you. And what do you use that for? I guess like
That's where
just
you got to think.
your social
Okay, so now I
medias,
have this stuff,
business.
but who would read this? How would I? The game still is, all right, you created this content, whether it was your own creative connection to the universe here in your mind, to written form or text, whether it was created like that, or created using a tool like the AI. You have this product. How are you spreading it after that? You still have to work. You still have to put your energy. So it's not a done deal. You still have to work as a creative business person, creative artist, creative musician. You still have to put the work in to do the moves in the physical world, because right now the AI is still only in the digital world.
Like on a screen.
On a screen, exactly. If you turn off all that stuff,
You better hope it turns off.
right? I don't want to go
That's
there
what I'm.
yet,
That's the.
but I don't want to go
I've
there.
been watching
But
too
like,
many movies.
if you just disconnect,
It's just you and your brain
it's just you again. It's what you have always had and what we will always have. In fact,
until you die. Oh no, even after you die, it's just you and your brain.
exactly. Or
Oh,
your
I have a
perspective.
question. I have another question. Sorry.
Oh my god. Okay.
This has nothing to do with the dichos. I'm sorry, but where are you in your body? Like, ¿dónde estás tú?
Yo aquí estoy.
Ah.
¿Ontoy?
¿Ontas?
Ontoy.
No, like in your body. Where do you imagine you, not Alejandro, but you are? Like, is there a place that you kind of imagine you are? Like your conscience or your soul or your little
Okay.
Alejandro? Like a little mini version of you?
I didn't understand what you were asking, but you're asking about my consciousness, like what I have identified as the part of me that makes the thinking and receives the information, which
Yeah,
is
like
consciousness.
where do you feel like you are? Where, or not feel, where do you see yourself?
It's like in my head, behind my eyes, I guess. Like, yeah, just directly behind my eye. And in fact, I just think about like this whole head, this whole box,
Cabezota.
this like
Echa cabeza.
I am somewhere behind,
Your ojos?
inside my eyes. Yeah,
Yeah, that's interesting because I saw the video and she's like, how come people don't see themselves in their right shoulder? Why not in your
you can.
left thumb?
No, but you can.
Like this is where I'm at right here.
But
You
you
know?
are. You are there.
You are, but not. That's not their initial.
Tell
thought.
me where you are whenever you smash that thumb into with a hammer. You're there. You're like, this is me. Ah!
Yeah.
That's real true. It's very it's a very weird thing to think about, but like it's perspective wise. It's like if you think yourself to be in your thumb and you really think about it, you can put your, I guess, consciousness as in like, I am here. I am in this part.
Touch consciousness.
Now,
is that what the painting was about?
interesting thing about that image is that the God part, where God is drawn, the figure that it does, it's in the form of a brain. So,
Oh wow. I mean, there's little like angels around him, or
yeah, but the shape,
people.
it's a human brain.
Is this you just saying that right now, or have you known about this?
I've known.
Oh, like
Someone talked about
someone
it.
broke it down
Yeah.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
That is so interesting.
There's a message within that painting. So talking
it is
about
connected.
messages within items, we're gonna go back to El Dicho, a time that I felt very, very celebrated, or that like it just felt like a celebration. So the event that happened to me, things that lined up to be, and that I felt like a amazing vacation,
Mhm.
was that time that you invited me to go to Mexico,
Oh, that's so cute. I'm gonna cry.
and how all that connected to the whole happening that, well, the whole thing that happened in that trip. That for me was a fiestecilla that I earned, or it was just a time for me to just relax and just enjoy and travel and
Aw.
visit and see people who I haven't seen for a long time, for almost 10 years. So Alondra asked me in 2016 if I wanted to go with her and her family to Mexico.
Mind you guys, we were barely dating. Like we had.
Oh yeah, we started
we had-
dating on May.
Dude, we had like 3 months of dating. Who the?
Yeah,
Some
anyways.
stranger.
And then Alondra was just like, "Hey, we're gonna go to Mexico on December. Do you want to go?" And I was like, "Who? Me? Just hanging around." I'm
Dead.
kidding. No, and I was just like, "Oh, you know what?
You
I'ma
haven't
check-
considered it, huh?
I'm gonna check my my calendar.
Because you hadn't gone since you were a kid.
Yeah, because I was like, wait, me go to Mexico? I haven't gone there since 06 or 04 or something like that. Which, yeah, 10 years, 06, 2006. That sounds so weird to say 06. Alondra invited me, and then I was like, okay, let me check if I'm going to be able to go. I checked my work, and then I requested the days, and then they tell me, you know what? Um, yeah, we're going to let you go. So then I was excited. I was like, wow, I'm going to go to Mexico. I'm going to go, and not only Mexico, but I'm going to go to another part of Mexico that I've never really experienced, and we're going to road trip there. That whole journey from beginning to where I physically arrived back to Texas. Let me just tell you that it was a vacation and a big journey of like very memorable, very
It
exciting.
was very, I mean, even from my perspective.
Yeah, so for number one, well that's the scenario that I'm talking about. Me going to Mexico after
That's where
10
the
years.
dicho comes in for you.
Yeah, for me it's that was a fiestecilla que me llegó a mi vida. That was a little party that arrived to my life where it felt like a vacation. It felt very happy, loving, and exciting, and it was new, and I was just so happy, and it
Aw.
completely changed my perspective, and I because I knew Mexico only when I was
A little boy.
as a boy, yeah, like as a kid, but I went back as an adult, and it was different.
As a man.
Mexico was different, and things had changed, and it was pretty enjoyable.
Because you went, it created a butterfly effect within your whole family. You know that,
Yes,
right?
yeah, I do know that. Yeah, because like nobody had broken that. Nobody
Nobody
had,
had built that bridge.
yeah, of going back to Mexico. Yeah, so for me, that whole experience was such a fiesta, such a party, such a in full of enjoyment. What is that TikTok trend or que agusticidad, que gusticidad, que agusticidad, yeah, that. Like bien a gusto, que estás bien a
Ajá.
gusto y
¿Estabas bien a
bien
gusto?
a gusticidad. Ajá.
Bueno,
Mexico was that a family friend from the United States,
mutual family friend.
mutual family friends, got married here, and then they're gonna do a boda in their pueblillo, and it's happens to be a pueblillo that's close to Alondra's dad's little town. So
Arriba Puebla.
so
What?
the trip that I got invited to was that if I wanted to go to their pueblo and at the same time attend to that boda, that we went to the boda here in the
You were a
United States,
groomsman.
which
Here.
I was a groomsman. I had
Yeah.
forgotten about that actually, but
Yeah.
and then I was invited to go to the one in Mexico, and I was like, that's so cool. That's like I'm going back to Mexico, and that's we already went through all that thing. So it was that boda, and then when we were there, be after the boda, your parents had like a
Had
quinceañera,
a quinceañera, and then that's
quinceañera,
when you were like, deuces.
and then after the quinceañera, trip to Puebla, which was amazing. And once I was in Puebla, Ciudad Puebla, kind of saw I was corresponding with my mom, and I was telling her that yeah, I'm over here, and I told her that I realized that our town, our pueblo was not that far away from Puebla. So I was asking my mom, and I was like, so what's my family? What's your mom doing? What's my grandma doing? What are they
Mhm.
doing? Because maybe I'm gonna go over there and visit them. And then that's when my mom tells me that I was just talking with my mom yesterday, and with your aunt, they're actually gonna take a trip down to
Guerrero, La
Guerrero
Costa.
Cruz Grande, La Costa, aka close to Acapulco. It was their vacation,
Their
and
Christmas
then
vacation.
Christmas
Yeah.
vacations for them.
That's fun.
And so I was like, "Oh, that's awesome." And then my mom was like, "Hey, you want me to ask your aunt if you could go?" And I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay." I didn't really think about me being in a vacation jumping into this
Another
another
vacation.
family
Like you didn't
vacation.
even take your bikini or anything.
Nothing. I didn't have anything. I didn't go with that intention, right?
Yeah.
But then I was like I kept my mind open for that.
Plus, you're visiting family you haven't seen in 10 years.
Plus, I'm seeing my grandma after 10 years of not seeing her. It'll be so interesting if we don't tell my grandma and you just arrive here and see a surprise. And by the way, I was like, Alondra, I'm actually going to go see my grandma. I'm going to go to my town. And Alondra's like, good luck.
No, like at the
I'm
time.
happy for you.
No, at the time.
Mhm.
At the time.
At the time.
I was like, okay, like, no problem with me. I don't know you either way.
Right.
You're a stranger. Like, I didn't have that
Attachment.
attachment to you yet.
Deep attachment.
Yeah.
Like, it was like,
No,
yeah, es mi
absolutely.
novio.
Es mi
Pero
novio. Pero su
apenas
familia, pues
llevamos-
que vaya a ver su familia.
Right.
Y a mí que yo me quedo con mi familia. Like, I don't have an,
Mhm.
I'm not tripping, you know? But now that I think about it, like, me as your wife, as in 7-year relationship, I'm like, you really left me?
I really left.
Ditched me?
I really left, guys. I really said, thank you, Alondra, for bringing me to Mexico.
I know.
I'll take it from here.
Deuces. I'll see you in 2 weeks. I'll see you after New
Right.
Years. Thinking back at the time, I didn't feel any type of way. So don't worry.
Okay.
Don't feel bad about your
Good.
fiestecilla.
One uncle picked me up, and then that's when he took me to the spot where my grandma was going to arrive.
Oh my God. Were you nervous?
And
You're excited.
I was excited because I hadn't seen my grandma, and I wanted to see her face of like, oh, mijo, oh, cómo has crecido, and I had that like
grandma's
scenario.
cookies on SpongeBob. Like, you just love your grandma.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like having my grandma be like, "Oh my God, mijo," and then yeah. So my grandma is
Mhm.
saying, "Hola, hola, cómo estás?" And then I was behind my uncle, which he met with my grandma, and he was like, "Hola, tía, cómo estás?" And she was like, "Oh, muy bien, mijo, mijo." Like since I was behind him, he just stepped over
Yeah.
and then like let my grandma see us, and then she was just like looking at me and this other guy that was with us. And then she's just like, Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Mm-hmm.
Like pulls the hand to shake me as if I was
a stranger.
a guy that came in with my uncle, as in like I was only a friend of him.
She did not recognize
She
you?
did not recognize me at all. Mind you, at the time, I let my hair grow really long.
I forgot about that.
And I had a really long beard.
Yeah.
And the last time my grandma saw me, I had short hair and no beard and mustache.
Bald. You were a little boy.
Like I was a little boy still, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Not even puberty.
Not even puberty?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
No, pues sí.
So yeah, so whenever like my grandma saw me and she just goes like, Hola, and moves on to the other guy, Hola. And I was just like, I didn't say anything because I wanted to see it played out, right? And that's whenever my uncle, he goes like, ¿No le va a saludar bien?
Mm-hmm.
And she looks, no, ¿por qué? And I was like, no lo reconoce, pero mírelo bien. And my grandma was just like, and then like I saw her face of realization. Alex, mijo! And then it's like, that's when it happened. That's whenever like she realized because she's like, es que vi tu carita escondida allí.
I'm gonna cry. That's so cute.
Con todo ese pelo, dice mi abuela.
Everybody and your mom would literally tell you to shave and cut your hair.
Yeah, I had really long hair all the way to my back. She said that she saw my little face that she recognized anywhere, but apparently not 10 seconds ago.
Apparently.
Yeah, but then hugs and like, oh my God, ¿qué estás haciendo aquí? Or like,
milagro.
And then, oh, qué felicidad que estás aquí. Qué agusticidad que estés aquí. Yeah.
That's so exciting.
So that's what that set up, that little trip within a trip to go to Acapulco or near Acapulco and experience that whole vacation, that whole experience, which was also very different from before, and like that kind of like
it was so unexpected.
So unexpected, and it also reawoken my love to Mexican culture. So again, that was a little fiestecilla que me llegó en mi vida. Para ustedes, for y'all listeners, is there any fiestecilla que les ha llegado en su vida que les cayó así bien bien pasiva, bien happy moments.
And if it hasn't, what is a fiestecita that you're hoping for that would happen?
All
You know,
right.
what is that goal for you?
Right, yeah. Leave it down in the comment. Share with us your fiestecillas que les han llegado, porque a cada capilla,
Le llega su fiestecilla.
yes. So, now, Alondrita, now that we have dove into this. So, hablando de capillas, aquí tenemos una capilla que se le está llegando su fiestecilla y que que ignoramos. We've been ignoring this fact the whole
we
episode.
Might have to put that in the
No,
front. That's
this is a perfect
embarrassing.
spot. Guys, this week, when you see this episode, in a couple of days after, is going to be Alondra's birthday. Yeah. Yay.
I'm turning 27, you guys.
So yeah, guys,
Dude.
Alondra is turning 27.
That's crazy.
You my wife.
I know. Our first birthdays together married.
Exactly. So
that's very special.
That is special. Oh, and we're doing it podcast style.
Yeah.
Look at this stage in our life.
Yeah, I know. Oh, by the way, you guys, I know you might be thinking like last video was Alejandro's birthday podcast, and this one is mine.
Yeah.
Well, believe it or not, our birthdays are 8 days apart. A week apart. His is on the 4th and mine's on the 13th.
Yes. If you haven't noticed, we're like, wait, what? Why is that?
Yeah, how does that work?
Yeah.
It's a very expensive month. I'm just gonna say.
we're adding the KEDICHO's birthday.
I know.
In the same month.
Let me just say, God, we have. Mira, primero que nada, we have Alejandro's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Then we're gonna have KEDICHO's birthday the day
Cinco de
after.
Uh-huh.
And then we have my birthday, el 13 de mayo.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have our anniversary, el 14 de mayo. And then one day we're gonna have Mother's Day. Woo!
Oh,
Alejandro, it's gonna be expensive for you. You have everything in this month.
All in May.
Except for our actual wedding anniversary, which I think will be more important once we start, adding the years. I was going to mention to the people that what I'm wearing today, okay, I think it's like so crazy. All right, so let me just say, you guys might notice that my hair is different yet again. I did end up cutting my hair to my shoulders the other day. Why? I don't know. I just woke up and I was like, you know what? I'm going to cut my hair. Meh, no big deal. But it's not short right now because I'm wearing extensions. I think like 2 episodes ago, I was wearing other extensions, you guys, and I'm just gonna publicly apologize to everybody. Those were Shein hair extensions. No, okay, look, I saw the video afterwards. I'm like, girl, please put those away. So I'm just gonna apologize. If you want to go see it, check it out for yourself. Here's the link.
That Brando guy. Please review her hair.
Brad Mondo?
Brando.
No, don't review my hair. No,
You're
but
like,
these
girl.
are actually human hair, so that's why it looks a little cuter. Well, anyways, no, that's not what I was going to mention. I was going to mention my outfit. So if you can see what I'm wearing, this is actually my quinceañera dress. And yes, I'm turning 27. My dress finally fits. Loosely using finally because I'm actually almost squeezing out of it. But what I mean is that when I bought my dress, I didn't have a quinceañera because I wasn't that kind of girl. I just wasn't really into the attention on me. I just wasn't that kind of girl. So we just went to Disneyland. We went to Cali, my hometown, and they did like a little photo shoot. My parents did a little photo shoot for me. And they bought me this cute little dress. Let me show you.
Yeah. Vuelta.
So this is the dress that my parents bought me, and took a cute little photo shoot with it. And at the time, this dress did not fit me. It was way too big. Like this whole front part was just like I was wearing a box. It was so loose. So I've had this in my closet for 11 years. And I think I've tried it on 2 or 3 times since I bought it. And each time that I tried it on, I was just hopeful. I was like, oh, maybe it'll fit me now. And it never did fit me. And I was like, dang, okay, like, when am I going to get my señora body? Like, this is ridiculous. How is this still not fitting me even when I was 15, you know?
Right.
So today when we were going to do our podcast, I was like, oh, you know what would be funny if I wear my quinceañera dress? Because...
Funny or cute? Cute.
Oh, I thought funny.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be cute and unique and awesome.
Oh, okay, yeah. Like it'd be cute. And so today when I tried it on, I was like, okay, like I was expecting it not to fit. Girl. Ever since I got married, I blame you. You're all happy. I've been gaining some good weight finally because I've always struggled to gain weight. Like there was a point where I got really underweight. So now that I put it on and I need help to zip it up because it was actually getting, a little squishy in there. But I'm happy. Like this is something that thank you. I've never had this experience where I'm outgrowing my clothes now. And so now that I can say like I'm outgrowing my quinceañera dress, like that's a good thing. I'm happy.
Right. I'm happy for you, babe, and I'm happy for us.
Thank you.
And
me too.
that you get to wear your quinceañera dress and that actually fits you.
I know.
And what better place than to do it in one of our first episodes that's gonna air on the Monday schedule. And also celebrating your birthday. So yeah, how
Happy
much
birthday
awesome
to
that
me.
we are going to have it archived in our
I
KEDICHO
know.
library.
This is gonna be the
Gotcha.
early ones, you guys, and we might
Yeah.
be cringing.
I know.
I know we
can't
will.
wait. I know.
No, look, I'm already cringing at our first episode. The
I know.
intro, oh my God, you guys. If you watch that, I'm sorry for the angles. I'm sorry for the makeup. I'm sorry for,
We're
Alejandro.
I know. And it was peak allergy season.
Oh my gosh.
Peak. Okay. And I wasn't feeling that good. But anyways.
So thank you guys so much for tuning in today to our special little edition of our podcast.
Yes.
We are so happy and grateful for our Fiestecita of our capillas.
Yeah.
And like we mentioned earlier, write down your version of your Fiestecitas of your capillas that you've experienced. And you can follow us where, Alejandro?
You can follow us directly in our KEDICHO Podcast, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube.
Ooh, you can look at our beautiful faces here on YouTube.
And if you just want the audio versions, we're going to be streaming the podcast audio on all your podcast networks. Now, before we close off, unas mañanitas para Alondrita. Yeah, 26 plus 1.
Yeah, 26 plus
We'll
1.
add it, like,
¿Me vas a cantar?
yeah,
A ver,
sí, te voy
cántame
a
como
cantar.
Cepillín, por favor.
Oh, tú me cantaste como Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, ahora-
Yo te voy a cantar como Cepillín. I hope y'all enjoy this version of Las Mañanitas de parte interpretada por Alejandro Lubiano en estilo Cepillín. Estas son las mañanitas. I forgot what he says, but like
Estas
son las mañanitas que cantaba el rey David. Hoy por ser día de tu santo, te las dedica Cepillín. ¿O Alejandro? El día que tú naciste, nacieron todas las flores. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed that voice. I don't do that voice often, but when I do it on Alondra's birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Look how lucky I am. Thank you, Alejandrito.
Thank you for coming, guys.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in.
And see you in the next episode. Goodbye.
Bye. Love
Bye.
you.